Marjorie Taylor Greene, thank
Mhm.
you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I was just telling you, a very diverse group of people in my phone text me every week and say, "Did you see what Marjorie Taylor Greene said?"
Mm.
These are people that are Democrats, Republicans, people that are socialists, people that are more, cultural conservatives. Your message is resonating with a lot of different diverse groups of people right now.
Mhm.
What do you attribute that to? We were just talking about the
Mhm.
need for like a new lane
Mhm.
politically, and a lot of people are feeling that the country is like incredibly divided.
Mhm.
You have become kind of this because you've always kind of been a very outspoken figure and people had strong opinions about you. Why do you find now the things you're saying are resonating with
Mm.
so many different types of people, including liberals?
Mm. I've basically been observing the same thing. It's based on the phone calls that are coming in my office. It's in my social media comments. People that reach out to me. I'm also experiencing that same thing. What I've been doing is being just completely honest in my statements. And I'm 51 years old and I'm a mom. I've got my three children are 22, 26 and 28. And so I'm not only have lived a lot of my life and been very successful, but now I'm seeing my children try to pave their way in our country as adults. And I'm seeing the challenges they're facing, and they're horrific. And so I'm taking basically a stance that is truly from a mother's heart and how broken I see our country. And it really upsets me deeply. It angers me. And I think for people to understand, like, well, who is Marjorie Taylor Greene and what is she saying? A lot of people that maybe don't know much about me don't know that I didn't come up through the Republican ranks in Georgia. I've lived there my entire life, but I never even went to a single Republican Party meeting until I showed up at one and said I'm running for Congress. And I campaigned on being angry at Republicans for not doing what they campaign on and not governing when they have power. But I'm also angry at Democrats for many of the destructive policies that they do govern with when they have power. And I'm looking at our country and listening to my friends like Tucker Carlson, not only Tucker Carlson, but regular folks back at home, and they're all saying, is our country on the verge of a civil war? And then I also have feelings of my own, just through experiences of extreme death threats and hateful monologues, and being called Klan mom by Jimmy Kimmel, and
Yeah.
just being treated this way, where at times I'll say, I want a national divorce. I don't want anything to do with the
Yeah.
left. But then at the same time, I go, "Oh my god, I do not want an America where we have a civil war, where we're fighting one another," and because that's too horrible. But I
Right.
look at these things, and I'm so disgusted with Washington, D.C. I hate politics. The two-party system is extremely broken. It is failing all of us, and when I look at, here goes another $100 billion to Ukraine or $30 billion to Israel, but yet nobody can afford health insurance premiums. And then I'm getting yelled at by my
Yeah.
Republican colleagues for saying that out loud. I'm like, this is insane.
You've been a leading voice. Trump campaigned on transparency. His administration campaigned on the idea of reducing, if not eliminating, corruption in Washington. It's going to be
Mhm.
hard to eliminate it, but
Mhm.
campaigned on reducing corruption. Um, we have a situation now where I don't know, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. Was it how many Republican congressmen and senators voted to keep the Epstein files secret? Right? I mean, isn't this I mean, I'm confused, right? I'm also confused at an administration that runs on America first is we're still arming the Ukraine.
Yep.
We're still funding the Ukraine.
Mhm.
We've hopefully just got a peace deal done with Israel and
Mhm.
Hamas.
Mhm.
But we've given Israel lots and lots of money. Are you confused? Because a lot of us are confused in terms of what's happening. Why are the Epstein files not coming out?
Mhm.
And why are we unable to pull the plug on some of these foreign entanglements that are costing us billions, if not trillions of dollars?
Mhm. Great questions. I'll tell you, I've been strapped in a front row seat into all of this for about 5 years now. So I'm always a very early indicator. And I think there's a lot. Look, I'm MAGA through and through. There
Yeah.
is nobody can challenge my credentials. I mean, I was never a never Trumper.
Right.
I was always 100% Donald Trump, 100% America first. But here we are, and I'm an action person. I'm like, don't tell me you're going to do these things
Right.
and not do them. And that's
Right.
what I've always been upset over, right? And when we're looking at, it's like, what are we getting? Here we are. What are we, 9 months, 10 months in? Tomahawk missiles got the president, and I love him, signed off on Tomahawk missiles to be given to Ukraine. That's not going to bring peace.
No.
I'm very grateful that he is ending the war and doing everything he can to end the
And
war.
he should be given credit for that.
100%. Oh my
100%.
gosh, he
Yeah.
genuinely
100%.
for what? For Israel and Gaza. Okay, release the hostages all day long, but for the love of God, these people in Gaza
Yeah.
have been brutally murdered, and it's over the top. And the IDF is still unbelievably controlling and brutal to people at checkpoints. It's not just Muslims. It's also Christians that live there. It's everybody. And I'm really thankful that he's worked hard on that. But what are we doing? We're buying out and doing a buyout with Argentina? Like, huh? $20 billion?
$20 billion.
Bailing
and
them out?
Then he just did a concert. I don't know if you saw the president of Argentina was singing and dancing. Like, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, again, a lot of people I know cannot afford to buy a house.
Yep.
They're not working. You recently said something, I think, about healthcare, which we'll talk about later on.
But let's go back to transparency, because I don't
Yes.
want to. I
No.
don't want to let that go.
Yeah.
Everyone that voted for Trump Vance,
Yeah.
everyone was like, release the Epstein files.
Right.
This is not even an argument. It's not even debatable. It's not being a traitor to the president to sign my name on a Thomas Massey discharge petition to release the Epstein files. No. I am staying true to what we've always said. There needs to be transparency. But the things that have shocked me this past week, and I was thinking about it this morning, I was like, I've been here in Washington all week, and I've been at my office. I've been in the Capitol. There's 2 things I couldn't find this week. I couldn't find anywhere the Epstein files, and I also couldn't find the Republican plan to fix the absolutely destroyed health insurance industry that got wiped out in 2015 with Obamacare.
Yeah.
Like, those are the 2 things I can't find. And when Republicans, and I'm criticizing also Congress big time. I'm really grateful to a lot of the things the president is doing, but I'm really upset with the direction Congress is going. But when we are not doing anything to address the cost of living, we aren't doing anything about Blackstone buying up houses where most young people can't find a house and they're having to compete in bidding wars.
Right.
And we're not doing anything about health insurance premiums. Then for the love of God, what are we doing?
Right. Why are the Epstein files such, I mean, we could all imagine why they're such a the third rail of American politics. Is it because a foreign government or an ally of America was blackmailing our politicians? We don't want that out. Is that a crazy thing to suggest? Is that a wild thing to say? Or is that, in your estimation, a very likely and possible reason that these things are not coming out?
Well, I can actually, Ty, will you look and get my purse and hand me my purse?
Do you have the
It's right up
Epstein
here.
files? If you have the Epstein files in your purse right now, we're going to get more views than we ever have. I pray she's about to take the Epstein files out of this. If you take the Epstein files out of this purse right now, I'm telling you, we'll get so much YouTube revenue. I'll buy houses for the people that can't afford them.
I'm going to read you a little list that Thomas Massey read.
Okay.
And I can only read it because he's already read it on the House floor.
This is the most heinous crime ever, by the way. It's crimes against children.
Okay, these poor women, by the way.
Yeah.
These poor women.
Right.
Raped. They went in front of the biggest press conference I've ever seen in Washington and stood in front of cameras, shaking, terrified, and talked about being raped when they're 14 years old.
Jesus.
I mean, and there's known hundreds of them, but they think there's an estimated 1,000 or more of women. And these women are begging. They've done everything they can, everything they know how. They went to the police. They've filed lawsuits. They have done everything they can, and they're terrified. There's a group of them. It's not all of them. There's a smaller group of them that really say that it wasn't just him. And they are scared to release the names, and it's understandably so, because when you release big names like that,
you get sued.
Absolutely.
Right.
Get sued into the ground. Now Thomas Massey read, and we don't have those names yet, okay? Just to be clear, we don't have those names, but we have a description of them.
Okay.
So let's go over this descriptive list.
Yes.
All right? And then people can really understand why these women, and why I myself said, I'm not suicidal.
Right.
But I am afraid of, this has been so suppressed. It has been so covered up, and it makes no sense. But let's just go through a few things. A Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million. A royal prince. A high-profile individual in the music industry. A very prominent banker. A high-profile government official. One high-profile former politician. One owner of a car company in Italy. One rock star, one magician, half a dozen billionaires, including one from Canada. So, and Thomas Massey read that on the House floor. So this is okay to say. It's already been said.
Right.
And we have speech and debate clause. We can talk about this.
Right.
However, when you think about a list like that, those are very powerful people with a lot of influence. And that's just the list of these people. It doesn't include the foreign country governments that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in.
Right.
The circles that he walked in, the business that he was able to do. And this guy didn't seem that impressive to be able to end up in that kind of position.
Right. It feels like there's something incredibly damaging, not only to those incredibly powerful and wealthy people, but it does feel like there's something in the intelligence world they don't want coming to light.
We were told by the women's attorney very specifically in our private oversight meeting that the press wasn't in. We were specifically told, they said, you need the CIA files. They said, get the CIA files.
Which are probably destroyed.
Here's what I think. You know what?
I
look at a lot of this stuff.
Not to be negative, but they've destroyed countless.
Absolutely.
Right.
Tim, and any common American knows that.
Yes.
It's like to really think that there's some super duper secret room that really contains this information still sitting there is really naive. Probably a lot of information on many issues has been destroyed. And this is why maybe we'll never find out. But is it worth trying?
1,000%.
Yeah, it's worth
and
trying.
You've become a hero of people, by the way, that have survived sexual assault and rape at the hands of powerful people that couldn't do anything about it. Maybe not necessarily in this case, but people all over the country and the world that are going, they're not seeing a lot of people be a champion for them.
See, that's the message, I think. I think that's the message that we're sending to some teenage girl or teenage boy. I mean, kids.
Whoever,
People trapped in a situation that they think they can't get out of. someone that was maybe kidnapped when they were younger and they're seen being held in a human trafficking situation. If we don't at the top level of our government push for transparency against the most well-known convicted pedophile in history and his network of influence, if we don't push back to release that information, then the message that we're sending these people, and it's very real, is that they have no hope. And I don't ever want anyone like that to think they have no hope.
Reportedly, Trump is talking to the DOJ about, and this could be it could be a headline that I misunderstood, about potentially pardons for Ghislaine Maxwell and Diddy. Is that a joke? I mean, this is in the news.
I know. I hope it's a joke.
Yeah.
George Santos has been in
Right.
solitary
And
confinement.
you wrote him a letter trying to get him out.
Of course. When you have George Santos sitting in solitary confinement, but there's consideration given to P. Diddy and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, it seems odd.
That's I'm sorry. We can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'll say on top of this, I think the prison system is a terribly flawed system. I think it needs an overhaul all the way around. I'm not for just releasing criminals. I'm not saying that, but I think we could do better in that system, especially, I mean, just given the fact that I know what happened to George Santos and I know what happened to so many people arrested on January 6th.
Right.
And I know their circumstances. We could do a lot better job in that area. But I just have to say that it's not going against the president because the women have already said that he did nothing wrong.
It's about transparency.
Yeah.
It's about releasing what you have.
Yep.
And it's about treating the American people like adults.
Yeah.
Who can handle the reality that a lot of people in this country that are very prominent have done horrible things.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can, Democrats deserve their criticism. They could have done this in the past 4 years.
Well, I think
didn't do it.
It's kind of mutually assured destruction, right?
Yes.
I don't think anyone believes this is like a partisan problem. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. Everyone I know is on Nutrafol and they all love it. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification of supplements. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy using a variety of hair measurement tools. I have friends on this. One of the younger comics who opens for me has taken this. His hair is doing great. And we are still making fun of him, even though he has hair now. And he says, well, you can't make fun of me anymore because I have hair. So we've found other things to make fun of him about. His lack of success mainly. But see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Tim Dillon. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com. Spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Tim Dillon. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Tim Dillon. Pumpkin patches, apple orchards, sweaters, the best parts of fall all have one thing in common. They're better with coffee. With Trade, you can explore roasts that fit your taste. From rich and bold to smooth and nutty, and use them to make all your favorite fall coffee recipes at home. It's like having your own coffee shop tailored to you. I love Trade. It's the #1 coffee destination in the U.S. for both hot and cold coffee drinkers. They've sourced the best beans from over 50 top roasters across the U.S. For cold brew lovers, they've teamed up with 15 roasters to create a special collection made just for cold brew, so every cup comes out smooth and delicious every time. Trade's prices are on par with grocery store brands, but the quality is next level. Whether it's smooth cold brew or a cozy hot cup, plus you're supporting local roasters with every cup. It's a win-win. Take their quiz, and in under a minute, they'll recommend coffees you'll love. If that first bag isn't quite right, no problem. Trade will replace it for free until they nail it. Right now, Trade is offering 50% off a 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Tim. That's drinktrade.com/TIM to get 50% off 1 month. Drinktrade.com/Tim. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit too about you've been one of the more vocal opponents of AIPAC,
Hmm.
of the incredible amount of influence
Hmm.
that AIPAC's lobbying efforts have over people in Congress.
Hmm.
And most people don't know what AIPAC is,
Right.
or, I got to be honest, I knew what it was, but I was unaware of the level of influence that
Hmm.
it had. I thought it was a lobbying group like any other group. The more and more you learn about AIPAC, um, the more and more you question why it's not registered,
Hmm.
right, as a
Yeah,
foreign government lobbying.
absolutely.
Um, and when you see Netanyahu in the White House
All the time.
all the time, when you see policies that most Americans, I think, find abhorrent,
Hmm.
starvation of children.
Terrible.
Um, and by the way, I don't think that's because Americans hate Israel. I don't think
No,
they do.
I don't hate
And I don't think
Israel.
I don't
I don't
really
hate
know
Jewish
anyone
people.
who does.
No, I
I
don't know
think they
anybody that does either, as a matter
right,
of fact.
right. So, but they're looking at this. Any criticism, I've lost friends.
Mm.
I've had people unfollow my social media accounts, which is in my generation as a 40-year-old, that's very hard. But these are
Mm.
prominent people.
Right.
One of them runs CBS News. Who cares? But over this issue, and I voiced dissent, but by the way, not even nearly what other people said.
Hmm.
I was just like, we got to end this.
Yeah.
But the mildest criticism, Megyn Kelly, one of the most moderate people
Yeah.
that you can speak to.
She's an independent.
She's really independent.
She is a registered independent.
The mildest criticism of this
Mhm.
issue, you are called an anti-Semite.
That's right.
You are said to be way out of the political mainstream and dangerous and everything like that.
Mhm.
I've had big agents call me and be like, well, I think you're going down a bad road when what's going on?
I have been shocked by it as well. So it's like popular in Congress to say China bad, Russia bad, but you can't say that we shouldn't be influenced by Israel. Like,
Right.
what is that? And then I counted up. So here was another thing I couldn't believe. Like, we've never voted on a resolution denouncing the violence against young white males in this country.
Yeah.
No, we would never vote on
Right.
something like that.
Right.
However, since I've been in Congress, we've had 22 resolutions denouncing anti-Semitism and denouncing anything.
What does a resolution to denounce anti-Semitism even do or mean? What even is it?
Nothing. It's just a piece of paper where it says, we as Congress denounce anti-Semitism. Okay, why do we have to vote on that? Don't we already denounce anti-Semitism?
Right.
But we
Yeah.
take that, but this is like, it's literally like you just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep doing it.
Right.
You just have to keep doing it. And I counted 22 times since I've been in Congress that we've had those kind of votes, but yet we never denounce other things that are significant and important to what's happening in America.
Right.
Right. And so that was shocking to me. I've never been given any AIPAC money.
Wow.
So I didn't get invited on the super duper special Israel trips.
Did you see that? What is it, 250 people?
It happens every.
Yeah, it was recently. They had one for like 200 people or something.
It's in August.
Oh, it's in August. Okay.
It's a routine
Get
trip.
us on that.
It's a routine trip. When you get elected as a member of Congress, if AIPAC approves of you and they've been donating to you and you're one of their candidates, which is most members of Congress, they take you to Israel. Okay, so just so you know,
Yeah.
every August, that's our August recess. That's the 1 month where we're not here in Washington, D.C. We go back to our districts. It's
Right.
called a district work period. It's a time to get back in your district, back to the people that voted for you, work in your office. For the love of God, see your family and friends.
Right.
Be a normal human a little bit.
Right.
But that's when they take them to Israel, is during our 1 month.
Is this every year?
It's every other year.
Every other year.
Now, they take
Interesting.
all the new freshmen that come in because we're elected every 2 years. So every other year, every 2 years is a whole new pack of members of Congress. But not just the freshmen go, a whole bunch of existing members of Congress go on the trips. And they have a Democrat trip and a Republican trip. Well, they bring them in. They spend time in having all types of informative sessions. They meet with members of the Israeli government, the prime minister, of course, Benjamin Netanyahu meets with them. And it's extensive. They go on tours. They spend a lot of time there. And that's what happens. That's what AIPAC does. And AIPAC also is a big group of donors in America. And there's a lot of Christians in the group. And there's a lot of Jews. It's American Jews and Christians. And they donate to all kinds of, it's just state candidates, state and federal candidates, and they donate to them, but it's purely for the purposes of having their support for Israel. And that you have to register under the law, under FARA, if you are a foreign lobbyist for a foreign country. So any American citizen.
So Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
Any of them are registered.
They have to be.
As a foreign lobby.
It's required by law.
One exception is Israel.
For some reason, AIPAC does not have to register.
And Congress people, Democrats and Republicans, are there all the time hearing from the prime minister and the Israeli government about how to better advocate for Israel in America.
Absolutely. They all come back with the same talking points. The reason why we have to continue to give them $3.8 billion every single year, because it's for their defense. We have to fund their Iron Dome. But by the way, Israel has, they have state-funded healthcare. They have state-funded education, college education. Israel is not anywhere in debt like we are. They're in less than $400 billion in their national debt. We're in $37 trillion in national debt.
In the aid that we give them, it's very possible that their state healthcare and their state education, the United States of America is paying for that.
All money is fungible.
Right.
All money is fungible.
Right.
No one can ever say it's not. All money is fungible.
That's right.
And then, but here's the most interesting thing. These other foreign countries, they're not taking our members of Congress on trips that last for weeks on August recess periods. That's not happening.
I guess they should start.
Seems
effective.
They may be, that's the pushback. Is all these other countries, they spend a lot more money on lobbying Congress, but I'm like, yeah, but Israel's the only one really coming out, getting our military to fight all their wars for them.
Do you think this generationally seems to be changing? People my age and younger
drastically
are looking at the images that came out of Gaza, and they were going, I'm funding this. Our country is funding this. TikTok just got sold. By the way, I'm sure you know.
I do know.
Okay.
I voted against the TikTok ban, by the way. I was one of the few.
Right. It's very interesting to me that TikTok was just sold to Larry Ellison, who is the single largest private donor to the IDF in the world.
I just learned that recently as well.
Yes. And I mean, you can donate to anything you want. God bless.
Sure.
However, it does seem interesting, curious, perhaps, that the largest social media app in the world that was the driver of a lot of anti-Israel sentiment amongst young people in the West, primarily America, was recently bought by the largest donor to the IDF.
To the Israeli military. Larry Ellison. His son recently purchased Paramount, which includes, CBS News. Barry Weiss, who we like, charming. We like Barry Weiss. But Barry has a political agenda. I don't think that's, is that shocking to someone? I don't think it's shocking. She now runs CBS News. There are talks to potentially for the Ellison family to buy Warner Brothers, Discovery, I believe that. David Zaslav runs that now.
There's talks about that, which owns CNN. Okay. When we look at what's unfolding right now in terms of access to information, censorship, okay?
Yep.
Are we troubled? A lot of people I know are troubled. A lot of people I know feel that this is a power grab to try to control the information coming out of that region.
Gee, have we ever seen that before?
Yeah, right. So I'm just.
I mean, no. We've never been through that.
So, I mean, now if you point this out, if you point it out, I will be called a conspiracy theorist or something.
Anti-Semite for sure.
Whatever it is, you know what I mean? But everything I just said was just a fact.
Those are just facts.
These are just facts. They have nothing to do with opinions. I'm not editorializing at all. No. At all, by the way.
You said a company was sold. Here's who bought it.
Right.
Here's one of their biggest donations is to a foreign country's military.
Yeah.
No, these are all just facts.
These are all facts.
Yep.
So, I mean, as a member of Congress, are you worried about consolidation in the media sphere with regard to the information that Americans are getting? Not only about this conflict, but about everything.
Yes. And so in 2022, I took to my personal Twitter account on January 2nd, and I created a massive tweet thread all about COVID and against the vaccines and why they shouldn't be approved by the FDA and against masking and just went 100% against what was supposed to be the talking points of COVID. And I'm a member of Congress. And literally that day, my Twitter account I was permanently banned on Twitter.
Permanently banned?
Yep.
A member of Congress.
Sitting member of Congress. My account got permanently banned.
For saying things that probably a lot of what you were saying now is completely non-controversial. Right.
And my reaction to that, am I allowed to say words on this?
You say anything you want.
Okay. My reaction to that was, fuck you.
Right.
Okay.
Unless Larry Ellison just bought my YouTube channel, which I will sell him. And if he buys my YouTube channel, then this whole interview's cut. But go on.
Yeah. So by permanently banning my free speech, no one changed my mind. As a matter of fact, I got deeper ingrained in it.
Right.
And I got more radicalized in it. And I would refuse to wear a mask on the House floor. And Nancy Pelosi fined me $2,500 every single day that I walked on the House floor not wearing a mask. And I got more vocal and I got more angry.
And she invested that money. But
legally. So, no, but I got more radicalized in my opinions.
Right.
I was like, how dare they? They completely silenced me over this. I'm going to tell you right now, toothpaste is out of the tube.
Right.
And it is smeared all over the bathroom.
Right.
Not only is it younger generations, I would say 40 and under, but it's also in my generation. And the baby boomers, they're too glued to Fox News and CNN every day. However, all these young people, I don't care who owns TikTok. There is not going to be any mass programming and propaganda campaign that is going to change their opinions.
Right.
And they're going to get censored. I guarantee you that. And they're going to get shadow banned or whatever happens on TikTok. It will start happening. I bet it already has started happening.
Right.
And that's not going to go well.
From seed oils to stress, toxins to pollutants, the modern world is screwing with our health at the cellular level, leading to exhaustion, brain fog, digestive issues, and more. But here's one thing. You don't have to settle for feeling like garbage 24/7. ARMRA colostrum is nature's original health hack, packed with over 400 bioactive nutrients that fortify gut integrity, strengthen immunity, revitalize hair growth, fuel stamina, elevate focus, and help you function like a human again. We've worked out a special for my audience. Receive 15% off your first order. ARMRA colostrum. I'm telling you right now, so many people I know, including myself, are starting to use this, and we are so thrilled that we have found it because we are feeling more focused. We're feeling more energetic. We have strengthened immunity, fortified gut health, ignited our metabolism, vitalized hair growth, enhanced skin radius, fueled performance and recovery. ARMRA colostrum. They're not a supplement, ingredient, or superfood. They're a bioactive whole food or bioactive food. They're not physician developed, they're physician founded. It's not a formula, it's not processed, it's pure, potent, natural, and clean. It's not beef colostrum or breast milk or milk, it's bovine colostrum. We don't boost your immunity, we balance and strengthen your immune health. We've worked out a special offer for my audience. Receive 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/Tim or enter TIM to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/Tim. Tryarmra.com/Tim. ARMRA colostrum. I'm telling you right now, it is so cool. You're going to love it. Everyone loves it. Energy, focus, strength. You're eating French fries at the beach and you want to take a quick dip in the ocean. So you put a seagull on watch. That's not security. That's catering for the seagull. There's a reason you wouldn't trust a seagull with your French fries. Just like there's a reason you wouldn't trust your insurance company with your case. Because when people show up, whether it's for help or answers or for justice, they deserve somebody who's actually on their side. There are plenty of reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people just like you and me. They've got more than 1,000 lawyers and 100 offices nationwide. Hiring Morgan & Morgan is just like hiring an army that has your back. If you're injured by somebody else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. And here's the truth. Not all law firms are the same. Hire the wrong one, and you may be beat before you even start. If you are ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Tim. That's forthepeople.com/Tim. This is a paid advertisement. When you look at an issue like healthcare, an issue like affordability, has the administration done enough to help the quality of people's lives?
At this point, inflation is stabilizing, sort of, but prices have not come down at all.
The job market is weakening.
Job market is still extremely difficult.
Right.
Wages have not gone up. Health insurance premiums are going to go up. Car insurance goes up every year. People's homeowners insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home. And then when they try to buy a home, they end up, like I said, competing with like Blackstone or somebody else.
The average home buyer now is 38 years old. It just came out.
Right.
The average home buyer, 38.
On the flip side, baby boomers can't sell their homes.
Right.
They pay massive capital gains taxes. They don't know, like, well, what do I move to? How do I downsize? I can't replace what I have.
Right.
So there are problems on both ends.
Right.
These are the issues that matter so much to Americans. These are the issues. I know people that literally, some of my own personal family members, some of my own personal friends, they're getting by month to month, charging up their credit cards. Literally, that's how they're getting by, charging up their credit cards. And no, all I've seen is a revolving door of foreign leaders in the White House. That's all I've seen.
Qatar.
Of course.
All these
everybody.
different countries that are positioning themselves as, as partners of, America.
Right. And I do appreciate the president's efforts. He's trying to end wars. He's also trying to make it fair again for American trade. But at the same time, that is bumpy. It's bumpy.
It's bumpy.
And I'm talking to major manufacturing companies they're saying we support the president, we support what he's trying, his long-term goal, but we're having problems with these tariffs. And now we're having problems. We can't get supplies from this country and we can't get supplies from this country. And there's problems. But have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet. And that needs to be the major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors or welcoming in these people that hated you and spent money to try to beat you, but all of a sudden are excited to come out to the new Rose Garden patio.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be the people that showed up at the rallies, stood there for freaking 18 hours trying to get in the rain, in the cold, in the 100-degree heat, For those people, those are the ones that I care about. Those are the ones that voted for not only the president, but every single Republican gave us power. I don't think those people are being served.
And that's the constituency. That's
Right.
the one that matters.
To me, that's the only one that matters.
That's the only one that matters.
That's the only one that matters.
You're not concerned if Sam Altman has enough money, or Elon, or the Tim Cook, or Mark Zuckerberg.
No,
They seem to be doing fine.
they're doing just fine.
They seem to be doing fine. Why do so few people talk like you're talking? And when people say things like this, it's very obviously popular with people that are looking for anyone to have these thoughts, right? Like some people would accuse you and they go, that sounds socialist. That sounds,
Right.
There's a lot of people that'll come out and go, you sound like a socialist. You sound like Bernie Sanders. You're using words that people can, liken to Marxism or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will say that. What happened to you? That's the narrative right now.
That is
what
the
happened,
narrative.
right? What happened to Marjorie?
I
This is
know.
what people are saying. Like, people are saying what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's the funniest thing to me.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is?
Yeah.
I'm literally, nothing happened to me.
Right. Right.
I'm saying the same thoughts and feelings that I've always had,
Yeah.
but I'm not willing to wear the Republican jersey,
Right.
and I'm not willing to be a cheerleader. I'm not a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a cheerleader. Here's the thing is, so for example, okay, let's take health insurance for example. I'm a conservative, and I can say we're $37 trillion in debt. We cannot afford a socialized healthcare plan in America. We literally cannot. But at the same time, I can say we sent almost $300 billion to Ukraine. We sent $30 billion to Israel in 2024 alone. I can say we definitely should extend these ACA tax credits, and we need to build an off-ramp because it'll cost $30 billion a year to do it. We can build an off-ramp and open up a new system that will serve every American. Yeah.
Right.
So my conservative friends will say, Marjorie, no, we cannot do that. We cannot spend that money on that. But I'm not willing to allow millions of Americans, people I personally know, constituents in my district, I'm not willing to allow their premiums to double and triple overnight starting in January of 2026. I'm willing to say, no, we're going to have to fund it, but we're going to have to build an off-ramp and build into a new system. And that's not me being a socialist. That's not me going against my conservative values. That's saying, stop sending the money to all these foreign countries and let's actually spend it on Americans and actually fix the system. And so that is confusing to people. They don't understand that.
The Medicare cuts are around $700 billion, or is it Medicaid? I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, it is tremendous.
It's tremendous. Right.
But we're also 15 years into the Affordable Care Act, into Obamacare.
Right.
And that's outside of Medicare and Medicaid.
Right. So a lot of people are wondering why we have these Medicaid cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Rural hospitals will be affected.
Yep.
And people are going to be thrown off Medicaid, but we are spending so much money all over the world. Again, when you look at this big, beautiful bill that was passed, I don't know everything in it, but I do know it was an expansion of the federal debt, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of money was cut from programs that people use, like Medicaid. What explains that?
So the big beautiful bill,
Yeah,
that's been renamed to something I can't ever remember because I'm not good at the
I
talking
don't
points.
know what
They
it is,
email
yeah.
me in the morning. So it has a lot of great things in there.
Sure.
It did a lot of good things with the tax code. It did a lot of good things for America First Energy, which we desperately needed because the Green New Deal not going to work. It had a lot of border security stuff in there. I love all of that. Love it. Those were the things I liked. It had it has $50 billion for rural hospitals.
Okay.
That's a piece that a lot of people don't understand.
Okay.
It cut out, what it did is it cut out any payment for illegals, and it takes people that should be working, put them back to work and get them off the system.
Right.
That was the idea there. So when you hear people getting kicked off of Medicaid,
Yeah.
that's what it's talking about, is getting those people that are abusing the system
Right.
back out into the workforce. These things are incredibly difficult to do. Here's my thing. We put so much emphasis on industries like, oh my goodness, the war industry, the military industrial complex. We put so much emphasis into big pharma. We put so much emphasis into the insurance companies. My goodness, they get a tax credit for every single person that has a health insurance plan. We put so much emphasis into all these foreign countries, every foreign country, especially Israel and their wars and whoever they're mad at. And we go to war and we bomb them and then we defend them for whatever they want.
Right.
I don't think Americans, if you really sit down with a group of Americans and you go, okay, hey, everybody, we have this pile of money. Would you like it spent on your causes that help your life? Or would you like to continue in this system that we're going on? I personally, as a taxpayer myself, would like to take our pile of money that we have every year and literally spend it in ways that help Americans' lives.
Right.
And I don't think that's a radical thing to say.
No. On the military industrial complex, there's a lot of interests in Washington, obviously. They're financial, some of them are ideological. A lot of times they are connected ideologically and financially. When you see an about face, when President Trump goes, the Ukraine can now win all the territory back from Russia, it feels like it is kind of insane that we're encouraging more war and we're going to directly or indirectly fund this with weapons instead of trying to negotiate a peace. Now, he might be behind the scenes trying to do that. I don't know. But what happened there? What are these people in the Pentagon coming in and going, you cannot, we don't advise making a deal here or we're going to look weak is he being influenced by people? Are there generals that are telling him something? Is it that we couldn't strike a deal with Putin on the minerals that Lindsey Graham keeps talking about, these minerals that we need to have, right? Like, what exactly is going on? Because everything we've talked about is everything that I think the American people would say.
Yeah.
It is, we're in year, 3 or 4 of this war with the Ukraine and Russia?
Oh, I know. It actually started in 2014. And our government was very involved.
It's in and out, right? Crimea, and
which is
thing.
A lot of why we can't seem to dig ourselves out of it, right?
Well, we've egged this on,
but then let's actually go back a little bit. I mean, our country in many ways has been invested in telling Americans, brainwashing us that Russia's bad. Russia's bad. Yeah. Every Hollywood bad guy in a movie was a Russian.
Right.
I mean, we're supposed to believe, every American is supposed to believe that Russia is bad, bad, bad. Yet they seem to be a pretty unapologetic Christian nation that I think is awesome. Also, I really think that's pretty cool. And here's what's intriguing to me.
But you don't even have to like Russia to not want to be involved in the war, right?
I don't want to be involved in the war.
I just think that you could say Putin's not a great guy and that there's things there that have happened that are obviously undemocratic. My concern is this country.
We're not contractually obliged either.
Right.
Ukraine's not a NATO member nation.
Right.
They're not even in NATO.
Right.
We don't have to defend Ukraine.
Right.
So there's no reason.
Right.
But yet somehow it's the most important thing that we've got to get involved in. And that's disturbing to me. And the other thing is we've spent sent tons and tons of money over there, but there's a bunch of extremely wealthy Ukrainians that all have incredible homes and cars and countries like France and other European countries. And I find that to be pretty sickening. Our own tax dollars were used not only to pay Ukrainian government pensions,
Right.
to bail out small businesses, Ukrainian small businesses, when American small businesses were going out of business because of COVID lockdowns.
Right.
The whole thing is insulting.
Yeah, the whole thing seems absurd.
And
Yeah.
but why are we told that we have to fix that war? We don't have to fix that war at all. And why does it why in any way am I a bad representative of Georgia, by the way? Why am I bad if I really don't care what happens to their territory and who gets it and how it works out?
Yeah.
How does that make me
the
bad?
people of Georgia,
But
I
at the
don't
same time,
believe-
yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm really, really, really angry that my district can't get the appropriations because Mike Johnson wants to pass a CR every other month, it seems like. We can't bring tax dollars back to my district. I can't get my
Who's
party
he
to.
being threatened by? I mean, if he's not bringing the House back or releasing the Epstein files, Mike Johnson to me seems like someone who's being threatened. This is a completely conjecture. I have no proof of this, but he has the vibe of someone that seems to be, I don't know, he seems to be incredibly pensive and overly cautious. Or does this seem normal to you? That does he seem? I don't know. I mean, you know him. I don't know him. He seems scared.
I think so. It's Mike Johnson's a nice guy.
I'm sure.
Anybody that meets him, you're going to say, what a great guy.
Sure.
Do I think he's really up to the task? No. And I proved that when I tried to get him out of the speakership.
He's being intimidated somehow.
I don't know. I don't have an answer on that. I really don't.
Okay.
I genuinely don't have an
How
answer
about
on
Cash
that.
Patel?
But
He's another
I
guy
can't
that
agree
seems
with
like
our
he's
strategy.
Cash Patel seems like he's being intimidated.
I haven't talked to Cash in a while, so I don't know.
Okay, I'm just saying, this
Yeah.
is just an outside perspective. I look at Cash Patel, I go, that seems like someone who's, he looks like a deer in headlights. He seems, the messaging over in the FBI seems, I don't know, it just seems, it's not satisfying to anybody that's watching this.
I was just talking, I have a neighbor that lives in my apartment building, and he's retired from the FBI. And we were talking about Mueller and talking about James Comey. And he was describing to me how the FBI used to be. And he said that those men absolutely destroyed the FBI.
How?
Completely radically changed the institution.
Right.
So, and I do believe that about many of our government departments. And I think when people come in and they're in the top position, it is extremely difficult to know what's happening all down through the ranks. I do believe that.
Right.
I think that is incredibly hard. I think that's at the DOJ. I think that's at the FBI. Oh my goodness, what Bobby Kennedy is up against at the HHS.
For sure.
I mean, these institutions, these giant departments, ever since Obama, have been filled with Marxists, have been filled with some of them communist, some of them just Democrats. And then remember, these institutions got filled with those type of employees. Then you had President Trump's first term, and that's why you saw the resist movement. And these government offices literally had resist signs in their windows or in their cubicles when President Trump was in his first term. So, and none of them got fired, by the way. They stayed in through there. Then you get Joe Biden, their presidency, and there it is some more, filling these positions, filling these roles, filling these departments with those people in that mindset, to the point where we had literally insane trans people in charge. DEI reigned everything.
Yeah.
And everything got flipped upside down.
I think most Americans are happy that the DEI stuff is being unwound.
Yeah, nobody
It's
wants that.
a fundamentally un-American idea.
And I think a lot of Democrats got tired of it too.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they were like, we don't want to do this anymore.
People in my business got tired of it. The paint by numbers, rabid identity politics is something that I think a lot of people tire of. It's exhausting. This
Very much
performative
so.
activism, virtue signaling, stuff like that. According to the National Institutes of Health, as many as 30 million men in the U.S. experience ED. It's more common than a bad night's sleep. The good news, HIMSS makes getting access to treatment simple, so you can feel like yourself again without the stress or awkwardness. Confidence shouldn't be complicated. Through HIMS, you can skip the guesswork and get access to care that actually fits your lifestyle. Straightforward, stress-free, and designed around you. Big moments deserve less stress and more confidence. When ED shows up in the bedroom, HIMS helps you keep your cool and focus on what matters most, the moment, not the worry. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/TIM. That's hims.com/TIM for your free online visit. You don't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. HIMS experts bring the care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatments and plans that put your goals first. This is no one-size-fits-all that forgets you in the waiting room. It's your health and goals put first with real medical providers, making sure you get what you need plus results. Think of HIMS as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self. With simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for ED and more, all in one place. HIMS.com/Tim. HIMS.com/TIM. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. In addition to that, you do seem to have a real problem with transparency. And there's a huge loss of trust over these Epstein files and over other things as well.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'll tell you what, I track the calls coming into my office.
Yeah.
Track them all. We track all the emails. We track all of it. This week, it was really interesting. 60% of my calls were about health insurance premiums costing too much. The other 40% Epstein files.
Right. Right.
So it's not going away.
You know, there, and you see this it manifesting in a lot of places. Obviously, Charlie Kirk was tragically murdered.
Oh, it's awful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, this has been, I think, a wake-up call for a lot of people about not only the divisions in the country, but, you know, watching people and the different reactions to it and how divided and how inhuman a lot of those reactions were.
Right.
From people that were over the top celebrating this and, you know, a young man, a father, and all these things. But there's also a lack of trust.
Yeah.
There's a huge lack of trust in the FBI to conduct this investigation.
I'm seeing that. I see that everywhere. Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that are questioning the narrative of what happened. I'm not an investigative journalist. I don't have facts on this, but I'm just telling you, and I'm sure you know this, on the right and the left, but I'm talking primarily more so about in the world of the right.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people, Candace Owens being the most prominent, who are questioning this narrative. I think it speaks to a lack of trust in institutions like the FBI.
Big time. Yep.
So two questions, two-part questions. Number one, you're privy to things we're not. Do you feel like we know everything about what happened? And number two, why have these Trump appointed guys, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, why have they not been able to restore some trust in that institution? And what do you think? The two-part question on those.
Well, I think they both went into those roles being flamethrowers, you know, having podcasts and done a lot of all type of interviews and all the statements they said before they got in those roles. And then just being an executive, having run a company, I do have a lot of compassion there. If you get thrown into that role with a presidential transition and all of a sudden you're the top guy and you've got to run the entire place, it's going to take a while to get in your groove, right? It just is. I mean, that's natural for anybody. However, I do question, number one, like we said before, is the information there? And if it is there, do you have people you can rely on and trust to actually hand it to you?
Yeah.
Because it's not like Kash or Dan can go all around and dig through every file and look in every computer. They're not doing that themselves. They're relying on staff. So is their staff reliable to do that?
But they also seem to be part of this strange gaslighting campaign of saying that, like, there's no evidence. There's never been any evidence, and there's
Right.
no story here, and nothing happened.
Well, it's coming. It's coming literally. Uh,
It's coming.
coming from the top, basically.
Do you believe the official narrative of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Oh my gosh, Charlie was a friend.
I know.
So I find this extremely sad. I think Candace Owens has asked a lot of great questions, and I'm glad she has. I know others who behind the scenes are doing a lot of digging and asking all kinds of questions as well.
I know high-profile people that feel weird about it.
It's horrible. But, she's being accused of, people are accusing her, saying she's accusing Israel. I never heard her say that. Not once.
Candace seems to
She's
be doing something, when I grew up,
right.
when there was a crime, there was a massive amount of interest from the media in all of these things.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember growing up and O.J. Simpson was on the news every single day.
Right.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Matthew Crooks, I don't know anything about him.
No, we know
I know
nothing
very
about
little
him.
about him.
No, nothing about him.
Tyler Robinson, maybe we'll know a lot more, but we're used to these weird things happening and then just going away.
Right, but you brought up O.J. Simpson, so here's what's funny. So by today's standard, we will have all said the glove didn't fit.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Back then, we were all like, bullshit.
Right.
We know the glove fit.
Right. Right.
But why today can't we call it out, right?
Where's the media
So
on
why
this?
can't we ask these questions? It's okay to ask these questions.
Right. Why is Candace Owens the only person asking these questions?
And why is she being criminalized and vilified for asking questions?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with what she's doing, but yet Mark Levin says that she's the worst person on the planet, and Ted Cruz thinks she's the worst person on the planet, and all kinds of people are coming out and trying to label her.
She lost her very close friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's going out and asking questions
Mm-hmm.
about his public assassination.
Nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Final question,
Hmm.
and then we'll let you get back to Georgia, which must be nice to get out of here, right?
Yes. Oh, I love it. I leave every time we're not.
Do you ever go to Georgia and you leave D.C. and think, I miss Satan?
No.
Do you? A lot of people say you're the heir to the real MAGA, and J.D. Vance is not.
Wow.
A lot of people say that.
Who's saying that?
A lot of people.
That's interesting.
There are people that are saying that. There are people that are saying that.
I like JD.
I like him too, but there are people that are saying that.
What do they mean by that?
They mean that they hear what you say and they gravitate more towards that. And they think that is emblematic of what the MAGA coalition, love it, hate it, whatever, stood for. And that they feel that you have carved out a space where they felt MAGA was about being an outsider, and they feel that you embody that more than he does.
Well, he's vice president.
Right.
Which is a hard role.
Sure.
I mean, that's a very hard role. I think MAGA is about.
Does that surprise you that people are saying that?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Really?
I haven't heard that, but I've been up here mad at health insurance all week.
But that's why they're saying it.
Well, then.
Because you're getting mad at health insurance. You're getting mad at things that affect them. And, I like JD. I'm not saying.
No, I love JD, but I'm mad about a lot of things, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. And I'm not going to stop finding solutions for it. I'm mad at education in this country.
Of course.
I as a conservative, I want to defund it, but at the same time, I want
to get people.
I want to rebuild it. I want to go back to the classics and us to have the best reading and math levels, and I want high schoolers to graduate with like being an electrician or a plumber or a welder or whatever it is. I want them to have real life skills when they graduate.
If you don't see a Republican candidate in 2028 that has the values that you think matter, will you throw your hat in the ring?
Oh my goodness. I hate politics so much, Tim.
I know, but you are a congresswoman.
Oh, I'm a congresswoman.
So it isn't a crazy question.
Well, people are saying that, and I've seen a few people saying she's running What I'm doing right now is I very much want to fix problems. That's
Right.
honestly all I care about. And I am genuinely angry on behalf of every American. Even if they're a Democrat and they don't like me,
Yeah.
I'm upset for them as well, because here's how I see our country. It's like we're all in a little house together. This is
Yeah.
all our home.
Right.
And our home is so dirty, and the windows are broken, and the air conditioning's broken, and the fridge has no food in it, and our clothes are dirty and tattered, and everything is messed up.
Yeah.
And because I'm a woman,
Right.
I'm a woman and I'm a mother, and I see our country that way. And all of us live in it together, even though we fight with each other and we squabble and all of that. It is heartbreaking to me. And I never wanted to run for Congress, never wanted to. But I ran for Congress because I thought people, real people, regular people have to get in there and bring that perspective into Congress and into politics and try to fix it. And that's very much where I am right now. Do I know what that means 2 years down the road or 4 years down the road? I don't know what that means. But I can tell you right now, there won't be any Republican candidate that will ever have my support or will be able to earn my support if they are not going to, in the moment, which
Yeah.
we're in right now, stand up. And even if it has to be going against the president or his staff,
Yeah.
I'm not against the president. I think a lot of it is some staff things. But even if it is the president, no matter what your position is, if you're not willing to say, this isn't what we said we were going to do.
Right.
This is not what America First is. If they're not willing to do that, then
Right.
they're not going to have my
We
support. And
need
I
a-
don't know what that means in
We
the
need a
future.
border. We need we need the rule of law, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Is there
Secure
is there
border.
a better way to do these ICE raids? I think Trump's losing support amongst. They did a poll recently about Latinos. Is there a better way, a more humane way to conduct some of these raids? Because I think there are a lot of people that go, we want a border, we need a country, and that certain people also
Yeah.
need to be deported. Absolutely. But when people see children being zip tied or a grandmother being
Yeah.
zip tied, and these are people who've maybe lived in a community 30 years and they're not committing a crime, they're here illegally, we know that. To me, you see a lot of people that are, more moderate types, people like myself that very much want a border and a country.
Right.
But I look at, showing up to a high school graduation and deporting someone's father. I go, this seems to a lot of people to be inhumane.
Yeah, that's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love Lake and Riley's mother and sister
Of
and her
course.
family.
Yeah.
And so I have to say, oh boy, do I want to deport any illegal criminal like that.
Right.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific. And having a secure border, oh hell yeah. Unapologetically.
Yeah.
Yes. Immigration laws, you have to follow our immigration laws. Those are our laws.
Right.
Me and you can't go to, say, Mexico or Colombia or Brazil, and we can't overstay
Right.
our visa
Right.
and not expect to get arrested and deported.
Right.
Like, that's just facts. However, let's be in reality for a minute.
Yeah.
The reality in America is, for decades and decades and decades, it's been whatever administration turned a blind eye. Even Ronald Reagan
Yeah. Big time.
changed it.
Big time.
My goodness.
Republicans
California turned
wanted cheap labor and
Yes. And so and I own a construction company.
Right.
So I'm going to speak from very real experience. We have a labor force in America across many industries that has been built on illegal labor. That's a fact. That also cannot be ignored.
Right.
And I'll say it like this: the same way I look at the health insurance industry and I'm analyzing, we need to build an off ramp, but an off ramp is gradual, right? Off of the Affordable Care Act, off of Obamacare into some sort of new system that is much better. I also look at this problem that we have with illegal immigration, that we can build an off ramp there. And as a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say We have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but
Yeah.
I'm just living in reality from here on out.
Yeah.
And if anybody's mad at me for saying the truth, then I'm sorry.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, ladies and gentlemen, our next president. Sorry, JD Vance. Well, I mean, there's people are saying it. I go to dinner parties.
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, by the way,
I heard you on Joe Rogan.
by the way, I'll tell you this one story, and then we'll let you get out of here.
Okay.
I have a house in the Hamptons in Long Island.
Oh, okay.
The Hamptons of Bill Ackman fame. Now, I went to a beach club there for one day for a lunch, and there was a lot of wealthy people. I don't belong there, and they'd never let me in. But I got in for one lunch because I wanted to go. The workers at the beach club loved you.
Aww.
The billionaires hated you.
That's right.
And they said, and these were Republican billionaires.
Yeah.
And they said nice things about
That's
Bush and Clinton.
They love Bush
and they didn't
Clinton.
like you.
They hate me.
And guess what? The people who worked there loved you. So that's interesting.
I like that. So
and that's a real anecdote.
So according to Tim's plan, I'm going to need 100 million people to donate $10 today.
That's right. And all of them Israeli. All right. Thank you, everyone.